Welcome to Arts Dynamics Talks. I am Sophie Marin, founder and CEO of Arts Dynamics, and this week we've got a special edition. We are broadcasting live from Digital on Stage, which is a big EU project that we are partners in, and we are here together with several partners within this project today. So you will meet a lot of great thought leaders and experts in the field of digital and tech and performing arts. And I cannot wait to hear what they have to say about their views, what they are working on at the moment. They will report live from Stockholm Fringe Festival, which is one of the main partners in this. So we've actually got a 3-day festival in Stockholm. And I want to learn more about the Fringe, where it's coming from, the origination of that. So we got two of them from here, Adam and Helena. We've also got Lovisa Westberg from Värmeverket. They are one of 3 bigger venues where we're also hosting events. So I'm reporting live from, sound like a big from Element Stockholm. And we've got a creative tech cluster, Arts Dynamics. And then we've got Värmeverket, and they are up to some amazing things as well. And I also know that Rumtiden will show up as well, which is the 3rd venue. So this is super exciting. And I think the best thing is just to jump in and to introduce my guests here on the call. So what I will do is I'm just going to show you who's here. That's also Karin from Intercult. Hello. They are the ones who brought us into this from the beginning, and you are one of the main project partners together with 6 EU countries, where Sweden is one of them. And there is Helena. Hello. Obviously me. And Adam, and then Lovisa. So how about this? If it's okay, I actually would like to start with Stockholm Fringe Festival, since that is sort of the frame for this. And Lovisa, stay tuned, because I'm going to grill you in a few seconds. But let's begin with Helena. Helena, would you like to tell me more, or us, the audience, tell us more about Stockholm Fringe, what it is, and let us know more.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Helena Bunker, and I'm one of the founding directors of Stockholm Fringe Festival. We've been operating this Fringe Festival now in Stockholm for 16 years. So this is our 16th year. And we've been, it started off as a revolution, we call it, against the order, because we love arts in general and the polished stuff, but we also think there is a big need for the unpolished and the experimental, and perhaps the ones that are on their way in their career rather than the one that already established. So, and the Fringe concept has been in the world for about, 80 years now. And we started this Stockholm edition 2010 for that exact reason, to create a bigger platform. And now we've been doing now for 16 years, and our focus has been to invite international arts, something that's perhaps is not seen in Stockholm or in Sweden, and have that big network platform as well. So it's that, I think, in a short version.
Mm-hmm.
And the revolution is that the Fringe Festival started because it was a reaction towards the polished in Edinburgh in 1974?
No, 1947.
1947, the opposite. And it was an international arts festival after the war, and a lot of artists weren't invited to this. So a lot of artists then decided to turn up anyway and perform on the streets, in pubs, in bars, etc. And then after that, the Fringe Festival became the biggest thing in the world, and is now operating as the biggest arts festival in the world. So we took on that, and there's 300 Fringe festivals now in the world.
300 festivals.
Yeah.
And what's your role?
I'm the founding director, and also doing a lot of other things during the Fringe Festival, but it's a producing role.
Excellent. And we were there yesterday. There was this opening gala. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Yeah, I really did. It was the air was electric.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful to see all these different acts and
and that's what it is. It's everything from an experiment, a lab, if you like. It's like a workshop. You can find that. It's a lot of site specific. So you can see performances, as I mentioned before, on rooftops we've had. It's in the forest. It's on a nudist beach this year. We can have it in a flat. Also in performance spaces, obviously, theaters and local cellars. We have one
In a
this year.
flat?
Yeah, we've had one in a flat.
That is so cool. If you
Yeah,
have a
it's cool.
flat and you want
Yeah.
Fringe in your flat,
Get in
then,
touch, please. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But we try to adapt a lot to the needs for the artists. So the artists contact us. They apply every year through our Baltic Nordic Fringe Network, which is 11 members festivals in the Nordic region. And we look at the applications and we say, look, this is what they want to do this year. So we follow them and we see how can we meet their needs. So, for example, if someone says, well, listen, we want to play. I think we had a big one in a car park once that we wanted to do. They wanted to have a big car park, empty car park, and make it into a tennis field or a tennis court, which is interesting in Stockholm because it's quite difficult to get permits for that sort of thing. But things like that we like and we thrive to do those projects.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And I'm so happy that we're able to do this together with you. We are so proud to be partners of this. And I feel that there is a need for this kind of finding new meeting spaces.
Yes.
And we will touch more upon also what are the trends that you're seeing this year. I would love to learn more about also what you see for the future. I'm going to move over to Adam, Susie. So thank you, Helena. I'll be back. And Adam, here you are. So tell me from your end, what's your role?
Well, I'm also one of the co-founding producers, and hello, everybody. We've been on this journey together with Lina Karlmark. So we were 3 people who created the festival. We've been trying to carve out new space for unheard voices. That's like the bottom line, a little bit of what we do. And we've noticed that both the artist and the audience embrace that. They want untraditional places to meet and experience new art, and also to see Stockholm from a whole new perspective. So maybe doing things on the less walked-in pathways.
And what would you say this year has been the difference from previous years?
We see that the increase is that more and more people like site-specific work. They like taking culture experiences out of the traditional rooms. So less auditoriums, as Helena mentioned. We do have an apartment this year. We have a garage in Västberga where they built a forest in the garage.
Oh,
and
like a real forest?
Yeah.
Or an XR forest? You never know these days.
Well, no. But also we do a lot of side projects. So Stuff is not just a festival that where the audience meet the artist, yada yada. We've been doing a digital stage called Arena Stuff. We are super interested of what's around the corner. Is there going to be a fringe in the metaverse? Are artists in our sector prepared and have the right tools and know-how to work with what's going to be around the corner? How is the next generation going to consume culture? These things we find super interesting. And there was like a peak just after the pandemic when everybody was doing digital, but there was also a Turing resistance. And we noticed that there was almost like a pushback from digital. We think it's super important that tech does meet performance art. But we are also interested in the democratic aspect of it. Who will have the know-how? Who will have the tools and the budgets when these things become more widely popular? So we want more women in tech and more women in, this digital ventures, and it's not an obvious thing.
And do you have women this year in tech?
Not that many tech, and also it's not a tech focus for us this year. The tech focus is here Digital on Stage, which is the project we're doing with Intercult. And how many women do we have a part of the project?
In the workshops now?
Yeah.
Come speak. We've got the interculture. As you can tell, this is very much in the moment. We're in the midst of the festival. Today is day 2 of 3. So I thought let's just bring everybody in and share what's going on, because there's so much happening that people don't know about. And this is just our way of saying there are amazing things happening in Stockholm right now. But as you said, this is a global movement. This is in so many different countries. And you're talking about Fringe also in the metaverse. So who knows what will happen this coming season? Well, first, let me just bring the camera over. So do you want to, just add to what,
Should I hold
you can
that?
just hold that.
Hello, so this is Ivona and Karin from Intercult. And Jonas, who just gave a VR workshop. We are happy to be here at Element. We work for Intercult, and we are organizing this digital academy as part of Fringe, together with Arts Dynamics, Värmeverket, and Rumtiden. And today we are here. You were asking something. The number of women leading workshops this week, I think it's 5. And so it's 50-50, I would say, this week.
And in the organization of the festival, it's only women.
Yes. And as Sophie said, this is a part of a EU-funded project, a Creative Europe project. We are 6 partners from all over Europe. Things are happening in the other countries. Things are happening locally. And this academy is, it's happening in Stockholm, but it's a lot of international experts coming, giving workshops and attending workshops.
Would you mind also to share, I'm just saying hi here, would you mind also telling people a little bit more about Intercult? Because you do a lot of international work, a lot of also with EU funding. They are the experts when it comes to EU funding and all of these sorts of projects. So
I will leave the...
share.
Yes. I take the computer here with Jonas on my side. Not everybody is visible here, but maybe we can put it here.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have been, Intercult is an organization based in Stockholm, and we have been working with international collaboration since 1996. So it's quite an old place and very well connected with, thank you so much, with Europe and also internationally with the whole world.
And what is your role?
I am the director of Intercult, working there since 2011, and organizing European collaborations, applying for European projects on different subjects. So one of the subjects is actually digital tools for performing arts.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. I've actually interviewed Ivona previously on Arts Dynamics Talks. You were there also on behalf of Smart Coop, and also helping creators to find the funding and find different ways to support themselves financially. So find that talk on Arts Dynamics Talks on Spotify, on YouTube, and all our platforms. I just wanted to mention that because many people asked about that and they had a lot of questions afterwards. So that was a brilliant conversation we had. Karin, would you mind sharing? Please come closer.
Yes.
Can you share what your role is with Intercult?
So I'm working as a project manager for Intercult. I am the person who's mainly in charge of this specific project, Digital on Stage. As Ivona said, we have several different projects. We have worked with performing arts a lot before, but we also have other projects concerning visual arts or crafts, but I am the project manager of this specific project. And I have a background in theater, so I'm very excited about this project. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. And as you can see, we've got Lovisa in front of us. And I mentioned before that we've got 3 different venues with also the Fringe being all over town. So I'll share a little bit soon about what we're doing here at Elements today. But before that, I would like to head over to you, Lovisa. Tell us more about Värmeverket. From what I hear, you're up to some very exciting things, from creator to entrepreneur. You're doing also things in the intersection of creativity and tech and entrepreneurship, but also your role within this project and also what you've done or what you're planning for your day.
All right, yeah. So my name is Lovisa. I'm head of education at Värmeverket. Värmeverket is a foundation. We're in an old power plant, an industrial building where we are where we invest in creativity and creative people, and want to see what happens when we do that. So all the members we have, all the creators are here for free. We give out stipendies and we have residencies. And magic happens when we just let creativity be free and they meet each other. We only have one coffee station, so people have to meet at the coffee machine. And that's very exciting. And that's a little bit about Värmeverket. We also do public education, because you talked a little about what's the trends, what are we hearing from the new artists, the new creative people, that the schools, the traditional schools it's not where you find innovation anymore. It's become pretty streamlined. People are doing the same things. So what we are trying to do is make public education hot again.
Wow, make public education hot again. That's a slogan right there.
Yeah. So we have a lot of workshops and programs and camps, we call them, that is super intense and have real output. And we collaborate with the National Museum of Technology and Science, where they showcase, and the museum has even bought the rights to some of the work, so it's permanently at the museum. And as you can see in my backdrop, we have had a partnership with the Porsche Scopes, who have a festival going around all over the world, where they go to different cities and are like, okay, what does this city have to offer? Which is a super, super cutting edge. It's a great festival, everything also for free, and they pay the artist well. And of course, they wanted to host the festival in Stockholm at Värmeverket, where like all the emerging artists and punk energy is harvested right now in Stockholm.
I love the punk energy. So what would you say from your perspective, this year's festival and the programming, what are you picking up? What kind of trends are you seeing? What are people talking about? Because we do know when we're talking about fringe, we're talking about the next generation, things emerging. That's where it's happening. And often it's just like when you listen to or watch TikTok, you often pick up on trends there before it actually becomes mainstream. So what trends are you picking up on? What are you seeing as opportunities or challenges from your end, from the people that you work with? Come in, Arash, if you want to say hi. Yeah.
Yeah, we're super excited to work with Fringe. We have creators in our network who are also showcasing. Me and Adam talked a little bit yesterday about Indra, who's a resident. She lives just around the corner from our building. And what we are picking up is the need and for the traditional arts to take place in the digital, just like this EU project that Intercult are doing. Like it's right on the spot. We have a lot of painters at Värmeverket, traditional painters, and they are now also exploring like how can we make adapt to the tech, and not only adapt but use tech to enhance creativity. And also sustainability is super, super hot. Everybody's thinking about sustainability, and tech is a part of that journey.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I'm so glad we actually have a full hour, because I want to talk to all of you to really understand what you are picking up on, both from the creators, but from the industry, and also because we're talking a lot about cross innovation already here, and all these new meeting places. So that's interesting. We have behind us, and I know you're about to leave soon. So I just wanted to introduce one of our workshop leaders. Come closer. Yeah. Let our listeners know who you are and what you've been doing here today.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Arash. I'm a virtual reality developer. So I have had a workshop, VR workshop, which is an application which is specifically is focused on hand tracking, because I love hand tracking in VR. So you have kind of playing room, which you can just grab the object and interact with it, and then make a scene, maybe a theater scene or something like that, a landscape. So I'm into virtual reality and making application in VR. Focused on hand tracking.
And when I was there, I tried this on. Of course, you have to do that. Then you showed me how it worked. And what we noticed immediately was that this is perfect within the health industry, as you said. Last week, I interviewed Per Söderström, who's the co-founder of the longevity cluster here at Epicenter. And we discussed various ways of also inviting. We actually did an ask during that call where we said investors, people from the health and longevity space and tech and business who want to get involved with the intersection of arts and tech and health and all of that they should reach out to us. And this is a perfect example, which you are mentioning today, where you actually have now created a tool which can be used within the health sector, which can help people who have illnesses or they cannot move, or they are elderly people that might need to be activated. There are so many areas of use outside of theater. Am I correct? And if you were, because now you have a few moments here before you have to leave, are there, I'm actually going to do this because we are live after all. If you would have an ask, what would that be? How can we support you in what you do? What are you looking for that our community might be able to help you with?
The big problem, money, of course, and then time, because I really want to like develop this application for people. But it's always a problem with economy and actually time, and like to involve more developer. I want to because I'm now alone, which is working in this application. It's quite simple, so it's working. But when I want to develop it, so I need more developer to work with me, and then means that we need more money.
Okay, there you have it, folks. More money. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to the team here in the studio. I do know we also had another workshop leader. I don't know if he's still in the room. Let me see. And also, Lovisa, we can hear you tapping.
Sorry.
Thunder keys. Karin, do we have
That's our kind
our
of
other workshop?
style.
Yes. So I heard that expression. I was on a
I
live
love it.
session. I do that all the time. So again, this is live, and this is what it's about. This is real time. So now, just on cue, we actually have Håkan från Rumtiden Idea Lab, and you can see him, for those of you who are watching the video, you can see him on the side, but if you're listening to the audio, now you can see him properly.
Is he on a plane?
Fantastic. Håkan, a very warm welcome. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Loud and
Brilliant. Håkan, we have talked about welcome to this live stream. It's so great that you're able to connect. The three of us here on the screen are actually representing the three venues, the main venues, the bigger venues. But then we have the Fringe who've taken over the entire town, all over the place. But Lovisa has shared a little bit about Värmeverket and their work. And we've met one of our workshop leaders here from Epicenter and Element Stockholm. Håkan, can you please let us know who are you? What is Rumtiden? And what have you been up to these few days here during Stockholm Fringe?
Rumtiden, we call it Rumtiden Idea Lab, which sounds a bit pretentious, but it's not, I think. We try to, the basic business, if we put it that way, is that we make a lot of interactive installations and experiences for science centers and museums and exhibitions and so forth, but also sometimes involved in academic research. We work with a game right now, and of course we work a lot with the AI project, and we work quite a bit with robots and design and 3D printing and stuff like that. Gamification. Some colleagues work with more democracy-related issues. We have one person working with gardening and urban planning from that perspective. So it's very diverse. As the guy who pays the rent, I'm trying to have certain ideas or guidelines that we should follow. We don't have a manifesto, but personally, for example, I try to design the projects that we do and a bit longer term strategy, which is in my case like half a year. It's not many years. So not only, of course, we have to take it into account to make money so I can pay the rent, but I try to quantify things like how we optimize the space that we are in, as we call Rumtiden, which means space-time, and of course the time, how efficient we are, but not efficient in the sense of producing as much as possible, but how big share of the time are we doing what we would like to do the most at that very moment, because that is a very interesting currency, and also the information flow, how do we communicate and between us and against, towards others as well. So I have this sort of 5 parameters that I try to, money of course is one of them, but I try to make all of them equal when I design the place. So we don't have an aim to grow any bigger or be famous or anything like that, but to be better and to work with better clients and to have, as we work, to make the project as fun and rewarding as possible. And so the consequence of that, I can just give a very short round that we have a lot of art going on. This is a 1,000-year piano. We can send music into the future, up to 1,000 years into the future. Here's our robotic DJ. Here's our, we have a slightly bigger robot in the kitchen, which is an ABB robot that soon will be.
You have a robot in the kitchen, yes?
There will be a 3D printer with this device that my colleague built. So that's a control thing for the robot, not the kitchen tool. Important to know. We have lots of screens and equipment, magnetic levitation and holograms. We even have giant African snails, which I think is very important in the workplace to have that. We have robotic servants if we have a party, soldering workshop, and many of the things that we make. Someone pulled the plug, but this is also a musical instrument, like most of the things here. This is how our office can look. And to me, a very important part of the whole thing is that we have a stage, fully equipped stage with pianos and drums and upright bass and stuff like that. And in here, the window, here's the co-work space. People doing their magic. Everything seems to be switched off. Yeah, right. We just do that. Otherwise, in most cases, we try to have this place full of things that are inspiring. So, we have musical tables and robotic waitresses and lots of interactive art. So when you meet in order to discuss the future or discuss new ideas, it doesn't end up on Post-its or in each person's brain, because that's the difficult thing. If we talk about new ideas, then we talk about sustainability. That's one thing for me. That's another thing for you. Talk about we talk about the future of AI. We talk about the future of culture, and that's I have one image and you have another image. But if we don't have anything tactile to gather around, then it's very difficult to know what we actually mean, and then a whole meeting could be pointless.
And from your perspective, what made you join this partnership here? All of us partnering up under the umbrella of Intercult and EU, and these 6 countries: Belgium, Slovenia, Italy, Spain, Greece, and Sweden. I mean, that's pretty cool. I have to say, I'm impressed. This is a cool project to be part of. What made you sign up from your end? And also briefly just share what kind of workshops have you been hosting or planning for at your venue?
Well, the reason I showed up is behind you is Ivona and Karin at Intercult, who asked me if I want to do this thing in collaboration with them. We have been doing things for Fringe previous years, but the way we did it, I don't think it turned out fantastic. We did like interactive street art, but it tends to be a little bit invisible in this festival with so many things happen at the same time. So then we said no to Fringe, that we won't do anything this year, but then came along Intercult and proposed this event that we will host Friday. And it's going to happen right here behind me. First, a couple of workshops with a dancer and a fellow or artist colleague of mine who is actually here also on artist in residency at Rumtiden. So we sort of merged those things together. So he will both hold workshops, do visitor participatory thing on Saturday, and on Friday, him and me will perform a AI remix of the Greek drama. That's how we phrased it, without really knowing what the deliverables should be. But now we thought about it and we worked for a week, and I think we have something.
Brilliant. And thank you so much, Håkan, for sharing that. I'll soon introduce one of our other workshop leaders who I also actually enjoyed this morning too. You were showing me things. But at first, I just want to jump over quickly to you, Lovisa, as well, from Värmeverket. What have been the biggest takeaways from your and this festival, this collaboration with the workshops that you have been hosting at your venue?
Yeah, so yesterday we hosted a workshop in touch designer, really, where performance artists teamed up with digital media artists, and they made a showcase where the performance artists are interacting with the media and also changing then the backgrounds and changing how we can use scenography and what we view as scenography. Yeah, so that was super excited. The takeaways were that this is really, really happening, and we had like 60 applicants also just only for the showcase, that people are really interested in this. And with Värmeverket has had a workshop before in touch designer, that this is really, really something that is going to be huge interactive media for stage performances, definitely.
Wow. The reason why I'm asking you to share what you're up to is because I feel that there is a lot of lack of understanding what we can do, especially when we talk about digital on stage and all things tech and performing arts. This time we're focused on performing arts in particular. And I hope that for listeners, this can open up your ears and eyes to what's possible. And also now we are introducing you to some of the movers and shakers who are at the very forefront of this. And that's what we love to do here at Arts Dynamics too. There are so many people out there working at the forefront and who are experts, like Lovisa and her gang, Håkan with the Rumstiden Idea Lab, and Intercult and everybody else. So we will also make sure to post, and obviously Stoff and all the others. So we'll make sure to also post links in the show notes. If you're listening to this and you're like, I want to find out more, then I want to add that we will post links to all the people that you've now listened to. You can also come into the Arts Dynamics community, because we're going to share more about our joint effort that we're doing here in there as well. But on that note, and speaking of what can be done, what can we achieve when we come together and bridge the gap between of this, and stay put, both Lovisa and Håkan, because I'm also going to ask you about the monetization shortly and the entrepreneurial side. But first, we've got another guest in the studio, in our flying studio. So who are you and what have you been up to?
Hello, I'm Jonas Myrstrand. I'm a visual artist and educator and creator. And I have just finished one of the workshops here in VR for the performing arts section.
Yeah, brilliant. And you, in that session, you showed us different versions of VR experiences. So can you tell us a bit more why you picked those and the feedback you had from the people who were there?
Yeah, in the first, it's very important to have good examples, and because it's quite hard to find, I think, on the internet with just the performing arts sector in VR. So that's one point that really should work more, and maybe curate a special section for VR culture or something like that, because as I said, it's drowning with all the other VR entertainment and so on. So yeah, it's really important to, because that we also are in the game.
And your experience in this field, what are your biggest takeaways from this workshop and this year's Fringe and all the things we're doing here? What are you picking up on from the creators and from people who try out this and take your workshop? What is the feedback you're getting and what are you hearing from the ground?
That we are many and we are interested, and there is lots to do actually, and these places and event is like we coming together and really see that we could do something together. We need to unite a bit in this section.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
You actually see behind us, this is the big venue here at Elements where we host our meetups. So we are also here because we do have a meetup tonight. So if you're listening in live and you want to join us, come join us. Many of the people you've seen here today, you will also see on stage. We will have a panel discussion. That's how we're rolling here. Weekly talks, monthly meetups, big creative tech summits and events, and big partnerships like this one, where we work together with other ecosystem partners to really cover our bases and bring in expertise from all sorts of fields. So I'm now going to bring back the Stockholm Fringe Festival, and hopefully we would be able to talk a little bit about the monetization.
Oh, yeah. Favorite topic. Yeah.
And you've already mentioned it, Håkan. I think you did too, Louisa, if I remember correctly, because we talked about entrepreneurship. What I want to know is running a festival. Running a festival can be very expensive.
Yeah.
There is a lot of risk involved. We live in, let's say, rather, we shouldn't maybe say challenging times, but there's a lot going on in the world that we need to take into account. Running a festival and running these big public events today, what are your biggest challenges, but also opportunities as a festival organizer? I'm going to begin with you, Helena.
Oh, big question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is the money coming from?
The money for Stockholm Fringe Festival is coming from the states and the local and the regional funding bodies. That sort of is where we get the main funding from. And then how we try to, I mean, it's not enough. We work probably all year round, I would say, but it's probably funding like personnel. If you look at it that way, to run it is probably like a 2-month gig for the staff, for example. But then we have obviously a big network of venues to look after. There's a lot of things that goes into a festival, obviously. So we are quite dependent on partnerships. So our biggest strategy for this is to work with and listen to a lot of different people in our field, but also in other fields, like how can we meet you? What would be interested for you in going to this festival? And as we said, many rivers create a stream, or the other way around. That's how we become stronger, because the state funding and the local and regional funding can be limiting, and they look at it perhaps as we're a 5-day festival, sometimes 3 days, sometimes 4 days, but we produce more than, what is it now? How many events?
Nearly 200 events.
It's nearly 200 events in 4 days, which is more than a lot of people do in several years. But as it is a public event for 4 days, that sort of counters it out a bit when it comes to which is a very interesting, and it's a very interesting discussion. So we talk a lot about that.
Yeah, and also because we talk about outdoor, indoor, being in all these different venues, whether it is apartments or garages. I ask this because we have a lot of festival organizers, event organizers, producers, production companies in this network. How do you solve insurance questions? I mean, if anything was to happen, for instance, in an apartment or in the garage, there's so many unknowns. How do you protect yourself and the people in there? How do you cover your bases?
But there are insurances. We have had the same insurance for 15, 16 years, actually. And then obviously if it comes a new a new platform, for example, we might have to tag along and think differently and say, listen, we need to look at it this way this year, and we need to add another insurance to this. That has happened. But normally it's for us, if we rent a venue, the venue insures it, and we insure our personnel. And otherwise we're sort of an event insurance.
But also, if you have international listeners, obviously we're an event in Stockholm, we have a Swedish insurance, but internationally with the World Fringe, there is a partner called Tysys, and Tysys specifically targets events, festivals, and culture. So look them up if you're running events, and they're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that annually we get around 400 applications to be part of the festival. People apply from 45 countries. So obviously the need to come and perform and show your work is huge. We do also think that you might disappear in the grid, but there is an audience for every thing, and there is increasingly an audience for tech stuff. There is increasingly an audience for carving out your digital space. So we love the work that we come across, both via Intercult, and we've actually loved the work that comes from Rumtid and Idea Lab, and we're super interested to see what's coming out of Värmeverket as well, because in Stockholm it's all very bubbled in the city, while as Värmeverket actually expands people's view of what is Stockholm, who creates, what do they look like, what voices do they have. So we're trying to change people's perceptions and habits in Stockholm. And that's one of the biggest challenges as well, to get people off the beaten track. With funding as well, the problem in Sweden is like, if we would like to work with tech and business, there's no tax incentives here. So if you would do a project like we do in Melbourne, we could go to a huge firm, and that firm invests the money in the festival and they can deduct it from tax. We don't have that here. And I think there's a huge debate. We were at a panel talk at the City of Stockholm Culture Department a few days ago, where they're trying to see what is the strategy for this city. So it was us, like all the big operators in this city, talking with the people who are in charge of the report that's coming in next year, to lay the strategy for the coming years. What do we need to develop the sector? What's needed to actually have entrepreneurs and festivals and theaters working together? What's lacking? And also what happens if, for example, the federal vision for what culture doesn't match with what the city has. I mean, look at what's going on in Warsaw or in Budapest, where the city has a whole different political vibe than the government. What happens then? Do we have a contingency plan? What happens? There's a lot of interesting discussions going on, and also we participate in a lot of Nordic and European projects, and right now have an application with partners in Milan and in Thessaloniki to work with multilingualism in performance art. So using tech to reach more people, reach a bigger audience, reach audiences who are traditionally maybe not taking part of culture experiences because of a barrier of language.
Wow. Yeah.
Can I just add as well, it could be interesting for listeners to think, because the participant artist, that's the whole ethical idea of the Stockholm Fringe as well, is to provide the artists with a platform that is not expensive. Because if you are an international artist, for example, or if you're an experimental artist from Stockholm, and want to come and perform somewhere, it could be a very expensive machine to try and produce your show in Stockholm for the first time, try and rent a theater, very limited spaces in Stockholm in general. So that's the whole idea for us, is to bridge that. So we make sure to rent these spaces so the artists can perform there, not to a great cost, and help them sort of create that network in a more sufficient and financial way.
And when you say all of this, I'm like, I want to continue this conversation. I just say, please go onto our Circle platform and let's continue this conversation. Because as you said, all of you here, we've got also an international network. We've got friends all over the world, and we want to know, what are you doing in your own cities? What is happening? How are you dealing with situations like this? And one thing I'd like to raise for today, and this is something hopefully we all can talk about for this coming season, is safety around this. We've got with Arts Dynamics a project called Cultural Firewall. Hanna Lindestål is one of our main security experts. Because when we're using technology, AI is obviously a big one, but also with immersive technologies, robotics and others, they're recording their environments. So when we are now using all these new spaces that we've talked about, garages, apartments, wherever we are, especially when we are outside normal, venues that are, have their own guidelines. The big thing that I see, a big trend, is that people don't know that they are being recorded. People are being recorded by gadgets, by their glasses, all these immersive technologies. Whenever you're using XR or VR or anything, they're recording. So let's say we are doing things in new places or with new people. It can also capture information that we might not want. So Lovisa and Håkan, since you are so much at the forefront of this from your end, is this something that you are talking about? And what are you picking up? So Lovisa, I'm going to start with you. Lovisa, what are you doing in this, and what have you seen so far?
Do you want to clarify the question just for me?
The question is, since you are also in the bridge between the cultural side, the creative side, and technology, immersive technologies, from a safety perspective, how are you working with that at all? Are there any questions about it from the people that you work with, or is this just something that hasn't yet surfaced as something you want to work with?
I would say maybe it hasn't surfaced. The creators, of course, are mostly scared. A lot of them of tech, talking about like plagiarism and stuff like that. And we do have courses in, for example, AI ethics, or how they can protect their work. And also how they can build their own models so that they have just another brain, copy their own brain and their own assistant that is just trained on their own work. But I wouldn't say Värmeverket is coming up with certain solutions. We're more taking in what the tech experts are doing and trying to get it to the creators themselves in order to make them not scared, and also be able to be a part of the debate and understand what is happening in the politics and legislations about the AI and stuff.
Love that. And if you were to describe the people that you work with, creators, what kind of creators are they? In what fields? And what is there a in entrepreneurship we talk about, is there a target market? Is there a particular avatar you're working with, or are there do they come from different places and different ages? Who are they that come to Värmeverket?
Our main target group is from 18 to 35, we say. And the disciplines they work in is super spread out. You can only imagine, like when as I said, Värmeverket wants to invest in creatives. So if everything is for free and you just get a membership from your passion or a certain project or your willingness to learn, then you can just imagine that the creatives that come here are amazing and also not always heard. Today we have a makerspace, like a prototype workshop that are today in Stockholm usually only provided by academia, or it's quite expensive to take part of and be part of a makerspace. And here you have it for free, and we have like laser cutters or CNC and sewing machines. We have a great deal, and studios and live scenes, 2 of them. So, and music studios and dance studios and co-working space. So it's a lot. And it's hard to say. Everybody's welcome, and you're chosen out of passion, pretty much.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to move over to Håkan and Lovisa, because we still have a little bit of time left. And before I leave all of you, I really want to hear also your take on where we are in like 5-10 years of time. So I'm going to do a full round. Before I do that, though, Håkan, you showed us around. Thank you so much for that. Do you notice anything yet around safety, and are you talking about robotics and immersive technologies and what it actually means from a safety perspective? And it's totally fine if that is not happening, because I see, just like Lovisa said, I don't hear a lot about this, but I feel that I would love to talk more about it. That is also part of our Culture Firewall to actually see, but what does it actually mean when we do record for our artists and creators? So Håkan, over to you. How do you deal with this, if at all? And what are your reflections on that?
Well, you mentioned robotics, but that's a completely different question. I mean, the standards of having a 1.35 ton industrial robot working requires a lot of safety regulations, of course. But right now, it's not in its correct place, and it's not working, and it's not moving much unless testing. But it's, of course, it's not recommended to have that kind of industrial equipment standing on a pallet in a kitchen where you invite people. But on the other hand, we have lots of laptops and synthesizers and stuff just laying around here, because it is an office. It's not a public space. So when it comes to that kind of safety, we just trust people's judgment. If someone would come up with a great idea to climb the robot and people get really hurt, then I'm in trouble. So we try to, comply with those safety rules as good as we can, with, emergency exits and stuff like that. Still being, an office. When it comes to, if like people do, they film without asking, and we haven't addressed that problem at all. Behavior here is exactly as the rest of the society, that we lost the respect of asking people whether you can record them or not. So it's not different from outside.
Yeah, I think the whole recording debate, like I said, just the other day, I just saw this new gadget, which just looks like a normal wristband, which tracks your steps. And it's this whole AI thing that just translates, records, gives you, everything. And so many people, I feel, are not aware of how much we are actually being tracked and recorded by other people in meetings that we also feel are maybe private. And I think for us working in the arts and being a fringe, this is fringe. We're talking about breaking new grounds. And we've got also several EU countries with members and creators who might be, might have to be careful about their safety as well. So I just want to raise that, because we're bridging so many different layers here. And thank you so much for being good sports and playing along. So
I would say that that it's very obvious that we're going to times. That's my personal opinion, that we will all be monitored all the time to an extent that we cannot imagine today. So, from my personal standpoint, is I don't spend much attention to, and I don't include that in my work, to try to, as activism against this sort of surveillance society that's coming upon us. I can sort of lift it and highlight it, but I don't have any active, ideas about how to take action, except, raising awareness. But for sure, it is coming.
Yeah.
But I think that goes for everything that we, Fringe being a non-political festival, but my guess is that most of the festival participants have a certain idea, belonging to the sort of liberal culture clique, where we agree on many things. But at the same time, the tools that we work with are owned by what some people call the fascists in the US. These are the tools that we work with. And so I think it's a good perspective to not, if we think that we are good against the bad force, we should realize that from different perspective, we're all the bad guys. And that comes to surveillance, and that's how, how we handle data, and how we, willingly or not, we're providing the coming tech oligarchs with, we build their fortunes with what we do, even if we try to be active against it.
Yeah, I think, and again, thank you so much for having this conversation, because we are here all excited about this whole festival and all the amazing things happening. But the fact that we can also talk about money, we can talk about these things, I think is good. It's rather complex, because we do want to break new grounds. We do want to, give them opportunities to shine and to do new things. But at the same time, we talk about this. So my question here is, moving forward then, here we are moving into the future. Where is the money? Because we do have creators here who are listening, and they're like, tell us, we know the creator economy is growing. We hear everybody talking about it, but it's like, where is the money? Where can I make money as a creative entrepreneur? So I think I'm going to start with the people in the room and just wrap it up. And also, when you do that, give me like a super short answer to a very big question. Where is the money? And also just some future, where are we, like say 5, 10, like how do you say, trend spotting? What is like one thing we mustn't miss? So Ivona, I'm going to invite you first. Ivona, where is the money for the creators? And what is one big trend that we mustn't miss?
Well, I'm working with European collaboration, so I know that there's money in Europe, that Europe is sponsoring innovations, technological innovations, collaborations between media companies and more artistic companies or organizations. So I think that you can find at least some of the money for what you are doing, for developing your innovations in this field.
Brilliant. Can you quick share about Smart Coop as well?
Yeah, of course. Smart Coop Sweden is a collaborative organization based mainly in Belgium and in other countries of Europe like Germany, Italy, but also Sweden. And we are offering the administrative services for creatives, for freelancers in the artistic community. We have 250 members today. We help them with the applications for grants to municipalities, regions, and you name it. So you are welcome if you are a freelancer interested in having a place to be, because we are also offering employments. You are welcome to come to Smart.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Adam, quickly. Where is the money, and one big trend we mustn't
miss? The money
is
a good question, but I just wanted to do like a side note here, is that when we right now are trying to create a European project with multilingualism, one of the things we look at it is what tools we are using, where are they based, and I think the future is having more companies creating tools in Europe, in countries with whose democratical profile we match. So actually going away from using American tools. So it's one of the things in our project. Money comes from collaboration, and we're actually part of Transit Culture Incubator, which is a culture incubator in Stockholm. That's actually the spiritual home of Stockholm. And I think it's a place where 30-40 creatives meet. It's through partnerships. So you can't do everything on your own.
Great. Come on.
Well, I think
Helena.
Adam answered it very well. I think what we'd like to explore more is the gaming and the arts industry. We were, as we mentioned earlier, we touched upon starting actually a platform for arts online or in the metaverse, you should say, called Arena Stuff. And starting that off, we noticed that they open up a lot of collaborative opportunities for us. Crossing target groups, for example, youth, and they are expert in some fields that we need to listen to. So we believe a lot in openness towards our peers and our youth to be able to create a future that can be something spectacular, we think.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Håkan and then Lovisa. Håkan, where is the money today for creators, and what is one thing in the future that you predict that we mustn't miss?
I should have come up with a smart answer while the other guys were speaking. My only strategy for money is to do many different things at the same time and work really hard all the time. So it's sometimes has been, I had some cultural funding at some point, or I had the, clients that paid off well for sometimes. When it was pandemic, I got some support from the government to survive. So it's very, very diverse. Because I have a very short attention span and I need to do very diverse things. So therefore, for my sake, then the money comes from many different sources. One thing that I try to strive for is make sure that we don't make too much money, or we don't get involved in a project that are with too big clients, because very often the joy decrease with the amount of money that is involved, or the stress of what one should deliver, and then suddenly the boredom factor goes up, and we sit there and do something that is very boring. So it's to me, it's very important to make sure that we keep the same, or keep a good size, but not aim for more and more money, because that will be a huge mistake. That's my worst nightmare.
There was thank you for sharing that perspective.
Yeah.
Because we are running out of time, I'm going to move over to thank you, Håkan. Lovisa, over to you. But both for Värmeverket and the people that you work with, where do you see the money streams are coming from, and what is one big trend we mustn't miss?
Well, as Fringe said before, it's getting harder and harder to get state funding and grants. So what we are betting on and what we are seeing is that businesses are not donating, but investing in creativity and for innovation and for innovation for the greater good, to elevate Swedish design or Swedish ideas, and that the businesses are also realizing that blending the arts, fine arts, with tech and innovation and the researchers needs to happen to innovate for real and to have a collaborative mind, you know, collective. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm so thankful to all of you. And you couldn't hear it, Louisa, but people were like, yes, yeah, when you said that. So I think a lot of people resonate with what you just said. So with that, it's now an hour in this talk. Time flies when we are having fun. This has been an interesting conversation. And again, thank you so much, all of you, for taking time out of this busy day and busy festival. For listeners, again, I'll make sure to post information about all the people who've joined us, so you know where to find them. You can find more about them also inside our own community for Arts Dynamics with our membership academy and creative lab that we have. And this is exactly what all of my guests said here today. Collaboration and partnerships, that's the way forward. And not to think in silos, but to be open to. You've seen here today, these people that you've heard, they are all experts in their own rights. They're leaders of their own ecosystem. And it makes total sense for us to collaborate like this. And I, for one, am so very happy to be part of this initiative this year. And I know I speak on behalf of Epicenter and Elements as well when I say that. So tune in again next week. I'm going live every week, every Thursday between 12 and 1. And you can always listen to the replays on Spotify and all the podcast platforms. We will gear it up towards the Nordic Tech Week, which we are a founding partner of Arts Dynamics. So for those of you who are in Stockholm, there's a lot of talk about Stockholm today, as you can tell. We've got a big event on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of September. For our international friends, well, good news. Just tune in to the online platform and we'll, who knows, we might see more of these people that you've seen today might come back. I hope so. I really do, that we can continue these conversations. And with that, I just want to say again, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. Drop a comment, drop a like. Please help us share. Hopefully this has added value and some hope for you who's listened, and just to know that there isn't only just doom and gloom. Yes, we know funding is going down in some areas, but just like you heard today, there are some great opportunities opening up as well. So with that, thank you, everybody. I'm Sophie Marin, founder and CEO of Arts Dynamics. Over and out.